12 years and you chose not to? What is the logic? Like Norwich going, yeah, we signed Messi and Ronaldo in the window. Give them 5 minutes on Saturday. No. Losing 5-0 is the Norwich way. It would be a factional attack on what this city means. Absolute nonsense, right? One of these people, obviously, fairly local, Angela Rayner, big star in the Labour Party. They got in trouble last week for comments she made on a podcast. She said that police should shoot first, ask questions later. Now, she said this on a podcast called The Political Party with Matt Ford, and I've spoken to the host about it. He was very diplomatic, as you'd imagine. I think what she meant was, and I'm sure what she meant was this, was in a quickly evolving terror situation, highly trained police marksmen should be allowed to use their training to keep the public safe. Right? She obviously didn't say that. She said, I think the police should shoot first, ask questions later. So, the sort of, I think that's what, I don't think she was saying that, like, everyone should go out shooting people. It's not something should, I get tooled up, I go out, shoot first, ask questions later, bang, bang, I'm Angela Rayner, alright, just took the paper boy out, ask questions later. That's just round moat, do you know what I mean? Like, just someone to be feared. I think she just was talking about, I just love the fact, she obviously does have that slight Liam and Noel thing going on. Someone said they're going to make a documentary about her, like being a working class woman in politics. Like, that's going to end up being like that Oasis documentary, Supersonic. But just about, like Oasis does politics. I don't give a fuck, mate. I don't give a fuck. No. I don't listen to the Tories, mate. We're not in a rivalry. We're not in a rivalry with the Tories, mate. At the end of the day, our policies are great, and there's a fucking shite. I remember that conference, right? I remember, the first time I went to the Labour Party conference, right? And I heard Neil Kinnock speak. Fuck me. He was a fucking genius, by the way. I remember our kid watching Tony Blair. Fucking hell. Slight self-indulgence. Trying to cry bar enough. Oasis is one in the northwest of England. Oh man. But Starmer at least is like trying to make the Labour Party look like it likes the country, trying to keep it. He started using Union Jacks more often, right? And this has really pissed some people off. And the other day he did a video addressing the people of Ukraine, and he had 2 Union Jacks. And that's one of these. When I say the hard left, by the way, I'm not talking about like Neil Kinnock or like the left wing of the Labour Party. I'm talking about people who shouldn't be in the Labour Party, like people way out west, or east, was the point. And they, a lot of these people are going, oh my God, 2 Union Jacks. Oh God, this guy's a raving nationalist. 2 of them. Now, this may strike some of you as odd. There are some people in this country who really don't like the Union Jack. They say it's a symbol of terrible things. Now, I would suggest if you do think that the only way to not make the Union Jack like that is for more of us to just find it acceptable. Otherwise, we do leave it in the hands of people who use it for bad things, right? The only way to reclaim it is for us all to be comfortable with it, because it is just the flag that represents our country, right? But some people really don't like it. And go, oh my God, 2 flags. Well, if the Union Jack is inherently offensive to you, surely 1 is bad enough. Surely 2 isn't going to tip you over the edge. Do you know what I mean? No one's ever going to say, kid, come on, meet me halfway, mate. Look, just 1 swastika. I think 1, they might give you the benefit of the doubt. They think, well, maybe it was there by accident, or he likes the red on it. 2, sending a bit of a message, mate. People might think you're a bit of a Nazi if you've got 2, mate. Surely 1's bad enough, right, in that situation. But I think there are some places that you probably shouldn't put a flag. And we found this out the other week. Labour have a new MP, just down the road, very north, Christian Wakeford, has defected from the Tories. And you might have seen this on telly, sort of theatrically, before Prime Minister's questions went and sat behind Keir Starmer, wearing a COVID face covering that was a Union Jack. Now, I'm all for the flag, but when you see it sort of covering someone's face, it does take on a different atmosphere, doesn't it? It does look a bit more, like you are trying to send a bit of a message, doesn't it? It says less, I'm comfortable with modern British values, and more, I'm going to throw a chair through a kebab shop window. That's sort of more how it looks. I think you have to be careful with that sort of thing. Because Starmer at least is trying to move the Labour Party away from policies that the public found repellent, but trying that some elements of the Labour Party. Richard Bergen, again, one of those people. The 2019 manifesto was very popular. It led to the worst defeat since 1935, mate. When them policies were individually polled. Some of them were very popular. Right, okay. One of them was free broadband. If you stop someone in the street and go, do you want free broadband? People would go, yeah, but why offering that? They go, yeah, but why? So what's up here? When the government in waiting is, we're going to give you free broadband, people go, what the fuck is going on? Also, just offering people free stuff itself, if you're trying to earn people's trust, isn't necessarily the way to do it, right? Just offering someone, it's not even about offering the thing, it's about who's offering it as well. That was the crucial bit. It's like saying, would you like a hand job? Yeah, all right. Would you like up Jeremy Corbyn? Well, I might go out shortly later, so ask me at midnight. I mean, some of the stuff that people come out. The last time I went to the Labour Party conference, this is part of the problem, is that, and it's not just Labour, it's happened to the Tories as well. They started tolerating a lot of silly people who basically made them look idiotic. When I was growing up, the Labour Party, even though it was left-wing, it was a very serious organisation. Neil Kinnock was a serious leader. Wouldn't have tolerated, in fact, he kicked out people that weren't serious. Then, and all the parties have gone mad in the last few years. The last time I went to the Labour Party conference, down in Brighton, there was a guy stood just where you go in, and he had a t-shirt on, and it said, defund the police. And he had a placard, and it said, defund the police, and he was stood there shouting 3 words. Those 3 words were, defund the police. He shouted it right in my ear on. I went, why do you want to defund the police? And he went, I don't. I said, are you joking? I said, he stood there in a t-shirt that said defund the police, a placard that said defund the police. You're only shouting defund the police. You're giving the impression to everyone here, you really want to defund the police. He said, no, actually, we just want to invest in different public services. I said, I'm no branding expert, but I'd have been better off saying invest in public services with a placard saying invest in, and shouting that. No. I said, I actually think you do want to defund the police. I said, you know the Tories did defund the police. They took 20,000 cops off the street, and people like you called it austerity. And he was sort of like, anyway. And then he went, well, I've started a debate, haven't I? I said, yeah, but you started the wrong debate. Instead of starting a debate about how much money should we give to the police and the NHS, we started a debate about whether you're a prick or not. Is that really a debate you want to be having? Like, what? It'd be like saying, don't forget everyone, bins go out on Friday. No, they don't, they go out on Tuesday. Yes, but I've started a debate on this street about what day the bins go out. You didn't need a debate, you're just confusing people. You've also started another debate on a WhatsApp group you're now no longer a member of. What a fucking prick you are, mate. Just the sort of silliness of the whole thing. Oh, we're going to have these silly slogans, we're not even sure we believe in them ourselves, all this sort of thing. And, but to be fair, Starmer is sort of trying to move them on. One of the areas, of course, where I think just the whole thing of national identity actually is very odd. I think most people, I'm 39, so maybe this is a generational thing. I actually don't think, in the last 10 years, either of the 2 major parties have understood how we feel about the country. Now, I realise I'm speaking for us all as a collective, but I would say the majority of people, I don't think, have been really represented in terms of their patriotism of the 2 parties. The Labour view, until Starmer, was basically this: oh my God, we're British and we're so sorry for being British. Everything in the world is our fault. We've ruined everything we've ever touched and we're terrible people. The English are the worst. The Scottish are almost okay. Don't ask me about Ireland. And the Welsh, we don't know what they are, but they voted Leave, so we're not sure about them anyway. We're just so sorry. The Tories are like, we got everything right, okay? And we love the flag, and we love Last Night at the Proms, specifically Rule Britannia, and everything we did in history is good. And if someone comes to you with a fact about stuff we got wrong, they are lying to you, because we got everything right. Now, they are 2 different weird things to think. But with the Tories, because they just like the flag and they look like they like something, the default rational choice is to go, well, at least they seem to like the place, right? But they are both appalling views. I genuinely think most people in this country feel like this about the country. They like it. I think that's basically it. If I could expand, I'd say I think they like it because they're from here, or they choose to come here, so they're like, right, this seems like... I think when you look around globally, regardless of who we've got in charge at the moment, most of us feel pretty lucky that we live here, compared to other places that we could live with, so that actually you do get a fair crack of the whip compared to other places. It could be a lot better. We've got some stuff right, it's good that we remember that. We've got some stuff wrong, we should talk about that more. And I really want us to win at football. I think that's basically it, right? I don't think either of them really get. They're always like, oh, but how do people really feel? Do they like? Does it involve hating other people? You're like, no, that's wrong. Does it involve hating ourselves? No, that's wrong as well. I mean, obviously, Scottish nationalism has kind of skewed the picture in the last few years as well, because the SNP, they are the only group of nationalists convinced that they're not nationalists, right? It's mad. They think by putting the word Scottish in front of the word nationalism, you can change the dictionary definition of it. You can't do that with any other nationality. You go, German nationalism? Yeah, that's not real nationalism, mate. Any other word in front of... No. It's not bestiality. It's Scottish bestiality. It's totally different. No. Well, we struck the animal first. Not like the savages don't say. Absolutely incredible how they get away with all this sort of thing. But I think football is where, this is quite tragic. I think, certainly for me in the last few years, I have looked to football in a way for leadership that I used to get from politics. Gareth Southgate to me has been far more of a leader than most of our politicians in the last 10 years. And that's not just because I wanted him to do well. I actually think he used his platform for good, and to say you can be proud to be English, that's not weird. You can also want Britain to be less racist, that's not weird either. You want England to win at football, and want millionaire footballers to use that platform for good before kick-off. Those things aren't contradictory, right? That's actually normal, that's what most people think. Oh my God. I haven't really heard Labour people talk like that for a good long time. They're certainly not wanting to be anywhere near like the England flag or the three lines. And this is part of the problem. In the summer, last summer, and I just got very emotional, as I'm sure most of you did as well, I think our relationship with football is really weird as a country. Because at the start of that tournament, when the players were taking the knee, the Tories, Boris Johnson and Priti Patel, said, yeah, boo the knee, yeah. Look, people want to express themselves. Like, you're pandering to a minority. The vast majority of the people in the games didn't want the knee getting booed. The majority of people watching on telly, the country, you look at any opinion poll going, 80% of English people wanted England players to take the knee. They supported it. Yet the Tory view of patriotism must be, actually patriotism is a pretty grubby thing, therefore it must go along with actually being quite a nasty person. It was such a miserable way to view, and they were completely out of step with football fans. Oddly, I think, as a country, our view of football is very weird. We are football mad as a nation. But our view of what a football fan is very strange. Even if it's just a football fan, imagine another football fan. They'd probably imagine Danny Dyer, after about 9 grams of cocaine and 20 cans of Stella, a sort of marauding with flare in one hand, ready to be inserted into his anal pipe, right? That's what most people are, sort of meth. Most football fans aren't like that. I say this as a football fan. Most football fans are sad. Sad people, right? Losers, let's be honest, right? You go to a football match, you don't actually see that many hooligans. You will see a lot of other people. You see men on corners on their own, hats covered in badges, going, I think we're going to win 2-1, we're going to win 2-1 tonight. What makes you think you're going to win 2-1? No reason at all, I've got a funny feeling. Scarves wrapped around their wrists. Yeah, if your wrists get cold, mate, use a scarf. You don't want that part there to get cold, do you, mate? You sit behind a guy at Forest who took carrier bags to football matches with bedding in it and a weekly shop. What do you think is going to happen in the next hour and a half, mate? Got frozen goods in there. It's August, you lunatic. 2-1, I think we're going to win 2-1. You meet weird people at football matches. You don't see that many people like Danny Dyer there. The statistical retention of a football fan is we are nerds, and by mistake. We're not nerds who are like, yeah, I'm going to read everything and swat up on this. It just goes in. I can't explain this with science. You meet someone, oh yeah, you're a Forest fan, mate. Yeah, I remember when we played you in 1995. Stan Collymore came on in the 90s, but it scored a goal and was sent off. It was the first time that had happened since 1936, of course. Oh, what? Did Paul tell you I was a Forest fan and you Googled it? No, I was there on the day. I've never thought about it since. Just in there. Every football fan can tell you, just remember games in detail. You're not even trying to remember it. And also just the sadness of anything. Oh man. My girlfriend's been on at me for a good year now saying, on stage you always have single-use plastic. You should get one of those metal chili bottles so that it's better for the environment and you can carry it around, you can refill it, it's just easier. I'm not carrying. I like to travel light, I'm a bloke, I don't want bags and stuff. I'm not going to carry around a torpedo. It's metal, I can't put it in my pocket, I'm not having that. 2 weeks later, I found one with a forestry on it. Buy it now, yeah. Might sell out. There's the one with Stuart Pearce on it. I need it. Get it now, you have bought it, haven't you? Just to sell. Maybe give me some forest pyjamas while you're at it. Absolutely fucking tragic people. That's what the majority of, and I was lucky enough to go to some of those England games last summer. That's the majority of people, they were like that. They weren't marauding yachts. 90% of people were just like sad guys, little England bottles and England hats. Just nice people. Obviously, I just wanted England to win. There's nothing horrible about it, apart from 10% of the people there were the most appalling people in society. Now, I'm not just talking about people that you'd see out on a Friday or Saturday night and be wary of. This was like prison level shit. Like the scariest people where you're like, there is no light in those eyes. Starting on coppers, like proper brawls. They started booing the knee. I went to the first game against Croatia. And obviously, because the stadium was like a third full, you could really see everyone. Like, you're not lost in the crowd. And you could see these people screaming, booing the knee. You're like, it's really shocking. They're in a total minority, but they're very loud. And then I remember at half time, just like seeing what the reaction was on social media, seeing if the media mentioned it. And I saw people, like commentators, people like Julia Hartley-Brewer, going, no, these guys, they're not racist, no. They just don't want football to become Marxist. No one is trying to make football Marxist. What's that even mean? What would Marxist football be? Every game ends 0-0? As a Forest fan, I'd have killed for most of the last 20 years. I'd have dreamt of a season of 0-0. Marxist! I don't want football to become Marxist, mate. There is no way, and I don't say this with any snobbery at all, there is no way, given that most people don't know what Marxism is, there is no way that our national experts are now Millwall's away contingent. Yeah, what we like, mate, is cocaine, birds, and political theory. Yeah. That's what we're into now. Yeah, I'm more of a Hayek guy myself, but the lads understand Marx, you know what I mean? His narrative on capitalism is actually paying up. No, there's no way. Most people don't know what Marxism is, right? It doesn't mean anything to anyone. Most Marxists don't know what Marxism is. Oh yeah, I'm a Marxist. What's that mean? It's like a communist? It's nonsense, right? No one knows what the fuck it means. And then there was the whole thing about, oh my God, taking the knee. I was like, spoke to one guy. Don't like the gesture, mate. Don't like the gesture. Any other gesture I'll be alright with. Don't like the gesture. You know, like people kneeling down. Like, it's the least offensive form of body language I've ever seen. Like, it's literally humble. You are lowering yourself. It's not violent. I mean, the hacker is like way more provocative. You're like, taking the knee! And they just, we're pandering to these people. Yeah, well, they've got a point. Some of these guys don't have taking the knee. Now, this might be controversial. I actually think there is one group of people that legitimately can be offended by the taking of the knee. Please hear me out. These are people, very small group of people, I accept that, who have been proposed to and subsequently jilted by specifically 22 men. I think for them it must be terrible. You know? Before every game, a horrible reminder of a love dream that went wrong, right? For them it must be awful. But everyone else don't like mate, don't like taking the knee. I mean, there was one guy who, by the third or fourth game, I was quite good at spotting who was going to boo or not. It was like whack attack, you know, I bet they're going to. There'd always be a few surprises, of course. You go, oh! No, I thought she was too old to get out of a wheelchair for that. Fair play, you know, everyone's got their opinion. But there's one guy, this moment happened at one of the games, where at the start of the game, this guy leaps up and he's screaming when they take the knee. And because it was reduced capacity, they would turn around and they go, why aren't you booing this, mate? Why aren't you booing it? You call yourself English, why aren't you booing it? Obviously sat there on my own, like my bedding at my weekly shop. Don't pick up me, please. And anyway, he sits down. And of course it ruins it. You won't get this at the Olympics. You won't tolerate this anywhere else. You just think, bloody hell. In every walk of life now, to tolerate people that are just bullies, it's really frustrating. And it really felt like a symbol of the time. It was like, this is happening in politics, happening in football. And this is the thing, football, that used to be the mainstream in football. Hooliganism was rife, and then it went away. And then you realise in life, you never fully win these arguments. They go away for a bit, you have to be so vigilant because these things can always come back. This is the problem, you go, well, maybe things will calm down. You're like, they'll calm down if we choose that they can calm down. But if people keep making bad decisions, they won't, and they can always get worse. Anyway, so this guy's booing, and then it's quiet for the rest of the game. Right towards the end of the game, Jadon Sancho, a mixed race footballer, starts warming up. They show this on the big screens at Wembley. He's back on his feet. Now, what he shouted took me completely by surprise. He went, Southgate, he should have started. He should have started up front. He's better than Kane. Kane's been leggy all tournament, mate. Sancho should have started. He should have been in a Rashford up front. What's the matter with you, Southgate? You're a disgrace. I couldn't handle the chaos side. I couldn't hold my little quickly enough. I remember hearing this guy behind me just take to his face. He went, fucking hell. He must be the most confused racist in England. Started off booing the knee, now he's saying there aren't enough black players on the pitch. Fuck, I wish I thought that. I didn't want to turn around in case it was a far right trick, so I was like, oh. Jimmy Carr, how you doing, mate? It's funny with football. I think football tells us a lot about ourselves, I think, and I think the fact that football is way more progressive now reflects well on all of us as a country. Like, football is ready to be, more of a leader in certain things. I mean, there are, and obviously more people in football have become more political, more openly political. Gary Neville's joined the Labour Party. I like that. I'd rather public figures feel comfortable and say, I vote Conservative, or I vote Leave, or I'm left wing or right wing, and us be mature enough as a country to go, fine, you can carry on being on Sky. Rather than the alternative where no one dare say a political opinion. I'd rather we were sort of mature as a populace in dealing with that. And I love Gary Neville. I love him as a pundit. I love him in Carragher. I mean, it is weird watching Gary Neville talk about politics without Carragher there. You're like, oh, come on. They sort of come as a pair, don't they? Like Carragher, he's like, I'm not saying that I disagree with you, by the way. I'm not saying that I disagree with you. It's all right, no, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Well, Gary, you said to me, it's a job of an opposition to oppose. No, it's not. It's a job of an opposition, Gary. It's be a government and waiting. That's what you don't oppose anything you're not going to win. And they're only called the opposition because they said opposite. It's like saying, Gary, it's like saying it's the job of a carpenter to carve. It is weird, by the way. I don't know if you've watched. This is like totally it's not hot topic. Many of you have seen the Beatles documentary. Get that right. If you haven't seen it, it's on a thing called Disney Plus. I'm like a lot of people in my generation. I like the Beatles. I never consider myself like a super fan. I've watched this thing. It's 8 hours of them writing their last album, and it culminates with this gig. It's one of the most incredible bits of telly I've ever seen. You're watching like private footage of Paul McCartney and John Lennon, George and Ringo, all sat around writing it out. It's one of the most incredible bits of telly. If you haven't got Disney Plus, get it in the DVD. It's 8 hours and it flies by, right? It's incredible. The main thing that I've taken away from it is people from Liverpool used to sound lovely, right? And lovely deep like that, Paul McCartney. Like, yeah, well, I said that to John in Hamburg, when we wrote that. Well, I was writing the long and winding road, Ringo. You're like, oh my God, what a beautiful voice. I don't think the Beatles would have been as successful. I don't think that documentary would be winning all these awards if they sounded how Scousers sound now. John, what are you doing? Don't play like that, you fucking knobhead. Go on, do it, go fuck off, mate. I don't like the way you play that. Play like a fucking dickhead, mate. I'm not sure on this band. Because there are sort of rules to accents in this country, and we always used to think that the rules were about class. That, an upper class accent is authority and stuff like that. Those rules are all still true. But it's only when the rules are broken that you realise the rules exist. And Sky was starting to break the rules. Different sports have different voices for reasons, right? So boxing voice, it's always like this. It's Tyson Fury. It's against Anthony Joshua for the undisputed heavyweight title of the world. The WBO, the WBC, and the IBF all on the line. And it's live from Wembley Stadium on Sky Sports Box Office and Sky Sports Box Office HD. It has to sound like that, right? Two big men are going to punch each other in the head until one of them is unconscious. This is serious, right? I realise that boxing is a sore point in Chorley. Catchroll was absolutely fucking robbed, wasn't it? Yeah. I've never... That to me is like an injustice, that's like a 1980s level. I want to turn on the news at 6 and see the Prime Minister has said there will be an official investigation. Alan Catchroll being robbed up in Glasgow. I was livid. Anyway, so, sorry to mention boxing at this difficult time for you all, but he was definitely wrong. But this is the thing, you couldn't commentate on snooker with a boxing voice. That'd be too intense. Worse, you couldn't commentate on boxing with a snooker voice. Oh. Where's that left hand going? This is ruining it. And I mention this because Sky have started to break the rules. Now, at the end of a football match on Sky, what they used to do was just tell you about the other football that was coming up in football voice. It'd always be like that. That's all we got time for at the Etihad. Don't forget, tomorrow night it's Monday Night Football live from the Emirates. Arsenal against Tottenham. It's the North London derby, and it's live on Sky Sports Main Event and Sky Sports Premier League. You go, good. Intense, not as intense as boxing, but it really makes me want to watch it. Now they promote stuff that isn't just not sport, it isn't not just football, isn't even sport, and they never address how surreal it is to hear this now. Join us tomorrow night, live from the Emirates, Arsenal against Tottenham Hotspur, live on Sky Sports main event, and don't forget on Sky Cinema, you can now stream The Little Mermaid 2. Will Ariel ever escape the clutches of Ursula the Sea Witch? I also don't want punditry on it, you know what I mean? I don't know what Ariel's problem is. Look, she's a mermaid. She's going to have to get used to living underwater, you know. Oh, surely. This is always such a treat, by the way. And I genuinely look forward to this more than any of the dates on the tour. And I look forward to this one specifically because it has been so long. So to those of you that brought tickets about 5 years ago, thank you so much. We've all aged so much. And to those of you who bought tickets recently, thank you as well. I mean, this is the most busy it's ever been when I've performed here. That really means the world, because this really is. This is a very special venue, and it's run by volunteers. And I'm sure you know this more than me. This is a venue run with it purely with passion and pride and love. And I'm so pleased it survived the pandemic, because there are other venues out there that have big backers and find it easy. The fact that this has survived is so good, because it's always such a pleasure to perform here. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honour to perform for you tonight. I, by the way, if you haven't enjoyed it, I implicitly believe that this was comedy gold, and I can only apologise. It's not for me to say whether you enjoyed it or not, is it? That's for you to say afterwards on social media. But I'm certainly not trying to manipulate you with cheap tricks, you know what I mean? Surely, I hope to see each other again soon. I'll be Matt Ford. Good night.